listening to Scoop B Radio with Brandon Robinson. Scoop B Radio.
DC family, what's going on? It's a Monday, the day after the big game, which means we're all kind of tired. I don't know. It is what it is. For those who enjoyed the game, congratulations. Those who didn't, it's okay. There'll be another one next year. We'll see what happens. Anyway, welcome to Wizards Talking Friends. Wes Hall and Chris Miller today getting you ready for Wizards Bulls after a loss to the Hornets yesterday. We're looking to bounce back. We're going to be seeing some old familiar faces, two of them being Otto Porter Jr. and Tomas Satoransky for the Bulls. It's been a long time since we've seen them. It's been, 2 years since the trade and everything? So we'll definitely be talking about that. Pre-game live starts today at 7 o'clock on NBC Sports Washington. But due to another person's presence on that Chicago Bulls team, we reached out. We reached out to somebody who knows a couple things about Zach LaVine because we got to get our intel, you understand? We're bringing in Brandon Scoop B, my man. Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. I can't complain. Like you said, it's that hangover from last night, but I could have been anywhere in the world. I'm glad to be here with you guys.
We appreciate it, man. So here's the deal. We've got a human scoring machine in Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. Just what he does. I mean, he had 31 last night, and, we don't talk about what happened last Friday. Radio. That game does not exist to us. But, Chris, Brad's looking to bounce back again, and I mean bounce back as far as the whole team, because he wasn't too happy with that L that they took yesterday, was he?
No, and he stole my line, and he owes me some residuals on it. How you gonna say we're on to Chicago after they got beat in Miami, and I said we're on to Charlotte? No, you can't. Yeah, no, man. Listen, I stole it from Belichick. He can't steal it from me.
Right.
But on a serious note, no, my man was upset yesterday and made it real clear afterwards. You can't get beat by 49 points in the last two games and think everybody's cool with it. That was not. I get the Miami one, right? Yeah. Scoop. In an 82-game season, in a 72-game season, in the halfway point of a first half of a season, you're going to have nights where you just don't have it. But you can't have two nights. You can't do the same things that you did the game before and not have people question what's going on. So I appreciate what Brad said yesterday. Called himself out, called his teammates out. Got to do better. Hopefully tonight with Zach LaVine, I always love seeing those two go at each other. Yeah. Hopefully the other 8 guys that are out there on the floor can just stop watching and participate.
Facts. Yeah. When you talk about two guys that deserve to be NBA All-Stars, and Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine, I think one of the things that folks will probably reflect on most is the fact that the records are what they are currently, and it's interesting because I like the fact that Bradley Beal is taking accountability as the I think the face of the Wizards at this point, but I think the accumulation of losses, but also the level of candor. I think in some respects, just from observing, for some reason, it still wins the Wizards fans over quite a bit. But after a while, the disappointment of losing just keeps going. And I think there's a mirroring between the Wizards and the Bulls in some respects, because I think the Wizards have a little bit more of a leeway, though, because, COVID and the issues there and teams, protocol and things of that sort. But also, I think as it relates to the Bulls have been around this rodeo before. We've seen the show before. The issue has often been, okay, we have Zach LaVine, but who else? You've seen Kobe White this year step up, and I think a lot of the reasons why the Bulls are playing so well is it goes to coaching. Billy Donovan is liked in that locker room. Zach LaVine is, again, putting up a solid number, but like I said, I think there is a parity between the Wizards and the Bulls as having two All-Stars, but how do we get over that hump in an Eastern Conference that is anybody's guess?
What do you find is the most? I'm trying to find the word that I don't want to necessarily say contagious, but what component of Zach's game is the biggest asset to the rest of the Bulls team?
The fact that he is literally their point guard, small forward, and shooting guard all at the same time.
Wait.
to take a phrase out of, and paraphrasing, because we've got a diverse audience here. If you ever saw the movie, was it Friday After Next, or was it Next Friday? He babysits, sells things, and other things. Let me kick the door in. I'm trying to be PG, but
I know you are. I know you are. I know.
They don't know when to kick the door in for Baby D. So
Right.
when you look at Zach LaVine, man, I think he has the ability to light up a stat sheet, but I also think he has a lot of talent that maybe isn't being showcased in the right way because he doesn't have the right pieces around him, or it's not a complete puzzle, I'll say. Kobe White, I think he's a point guard, but he's a scoring point guard. Nothing wrong with that. That's today's NBA. But you're hearing talks about Lonzo Ball now coming in. So it's like, okay, if that happens, does Lonzo, if he's traded to the Bulls, do you start him at the 1, Lonzo, and then you move Kobe to the 2, and then you move LaVine to that 3 position, the natural position, then you fill it out. Wendell Carter Jr. has to be healthy. That's been an issue over the last couple of years. If there is a trade and Lonzo's bought in, do you move Satoransky as well as Lowry? So, because to me, Lowry is that piece that can shift to that natural 4 position. That almost like their Dirk Nowitzki, if you will. But I still think they're a very young team. But Zach LaVine is box office hits every night, just like I think Bradley Beal is too.
Scoop, boy, you just opened up Pandora's box for me.
That's why I didn't say nothing. I'm like, go ahead.
We about to have fun. So Lonzo, to me, ain't his brother. We just saw his brother last night. His brother, that boy's bad. So Kobe, to me, is a 6'5" shooting guard. That's how I see him. I don't see him as a point guard. He can score too well to be worrying about getting everybody where they need to be. But brother, they just drafted Patrick Williams. So if Zach goes to the 3, does Patrick Williams go to the bench? How do you see this? Because here's what I will say. I'm all in on Daniel Gafford. I'm just saying right now, Wendell Carter, hey man, nice to know you.
All love.
Daniel Gafford, nah, he's that athletic 5-man you need to protect the rim, run. So now talk to me, B, about how that lineup would look now if you do the Lonzo, Kobe, Zach, who's your 4-man, and is Gafford the guy moving forward?
Daniel Gafford is definitely that guy. I spent some time via Zoom and just social media interacting in between with Daniel Gafford about a month ago. And one of the things that I liked about, or when I really started to notice Daniel Gafford, was in that game against, I believe it was the Dallas Mavericks, when LaVine went off. I think LaVine had Jordan numbers. I think it was like 39 points or something like that. And to me, Gafford is a hidden gem. I think Gafford is somebody that's that humble, the stereotypical, quiet, humble Southern guy that just does his work and goes home. Like the only person I think Chicago has had that's like that's no longer there is like Bobby Portis, but they play 2 different positions. You see how Bobby Portis is producing in Milwaukee right now. But a lineup with that you just mentioned, I think adding Lonzo to that piece would be great for this reason. I had Jay Williams, former Bull, ESPN analyst, on my Heavy Live with Scoopy show back in the fall. And one of the things that he said to me is, Lonzo Ball came in with high expectations for a myriad of reasons. And he believes that we need to kind of reassess or recalibrate the expectations that we have. He says, because everybody's expecting a LeBron James triple-double. He goes, he can still average a triple-double. He does not have to average a LeBron James triple-double to be successful. Just average a triple-double. You're still going to get paid. So I think when we temper that makes a lot of sense. I think you're right. You said something about Kobe White. Kobe, you said he's a 6'5", 2 guard. I'm going to name a name, and you might agree or disagree. The Bulls need Kobe White to be their Ben Gordon.
At 6'5".
Yeah.
You
Undersized.
okay? So, but this is where I loved Ben Gordon. Ben Gordon was great coming off the bench, and he was baby microwave.
Yeah.
If you're going to come into the game,
Heat.
go get it. And see, this is the thing about communication in the league. And y'all gonna get me started today. I wasn't gonna go here. I feel like role definition, the coaches need to do a better job of that. And it needs to be something that is constantly talked about. Not just at training camp,
No.
not just the first 5 games of the season, but there needs to be consistent dialogue with players about what you do, what you bring to the table. And it needs to be a back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
When you say Kobe White is a scorer, Kobe White has scored the basketball since he was 8 years old. He is the leading scorer in the state of North Carolina history for high school basketball. Go look at the numbers. This kid can do it all offensively. But now in Chicago, they're asking him to bring the ball up, facilitate, figure out who's hot. Oh, shoot, I didn't give him a touch. Let me give him a touch. No, he's a natural-born scorer.
Doesn't it
So
sound
let
like
him be
Allen
that.
Iverson a little bit? In 2001.
And he's 6'5", B.
Yeah.
AI wishes he was 6'5".
Right,
Man, look,
right.
AI at 6'5", AI at 6'5" gets 2 rings, automatic.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the communication part of it. Like, I want Kobe to score. Kobe, do what you do and stop worrying about all that other stuff that's not really helping you develop your game as a scoring machine.
And it's interesting because Billy Donovan was a point guard, I believe, in his career, and he has a good rapport with point guards. I use this analogy often. I use one pop culture reference. Allow me to use another one. So last year, Chris Paul came to OKC and worked wonders with the young Thunder team. Anybody who may listen to Erykah Badu music, I say that Chris Paul is the Erykah Badu of the NBA because a lot of women want to do water births and they want a doula. They want someone to come in and help take care of the baby, help deliver the baby. And I say Chris Paul is the NBA's doula because he just goes to teams now like the Phoenix Suns and does what he does. When I look at Billy Donovan facilitates that because he is used to managing egos, managing superstar talent. You saw it, if I'm not mistaken, with Russell Westbrook, a guy with the Wizards. You see it now with Zach LaVine, who did not get along with Jim Boylan, and you saw it with Chris Paul. I say that to say this. Imagine a world where you found a viable point guard and you were able to naturally shift Kobe to that 2-guard position, and all LaVine had to do was be Chicago's LeBron James. You fill it out with Daniel Gafford, and you figure out what you do, with the other slot, the power, because it depends on the fillers that they use in that proposal or that trade that could happen.
Can Patrick play the 4?
I think he can. I think in a system like that, I mean, I'm not comparing him to this, but Eric Dampier was able to play alongside LeBron James, and I think he was in Dallas as well. All you got to do is show up and be a big body defensively, and I think that's a start. And he's no Eric Dampier. And I think at the end of the day, when you have a facilitating point guard, it just makes everything around you so much easier. So, in answer to your question, yeah, I think he can play the 4, but I also just think the Bulls are still, as a young team, trying to figure out their identity. They have this talent in Zach LaVine, and I think that they made him happy by bringing in a coach that he likes. But now it's next steps because they started out hot at the beginning of the season and kind of they're still figuring out roles. It like I said, that's why it reminds me so much of you guys, the Wizards. Like there's just this just figuring things out, even from the perspective of I think the Bulls were in Washington when some guys had to stay behind because of tracing and protocol and things of that regard. Like, just COVID has not been either one of these teams' friends early in the season, and wins and trying to string those together. I think it's easier to string popcorn for Christmas decorations.
Not the popcorn.
to win game.
You speak truth though, because our Wizards fans here know that, we've recounted this a lot of times about the start to the season 0-5. Then January just decimated us with all the stuff that happened with COVID. But one thing that's been consistent for us in the positive regard through all of that is the guy that we have on our team by the name of Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this almost to the point where Chris is like, I don't want to keep talking about Bradley Beal on every single pregame because we love doing it. But Brad's not the only dude on this team. Like Chris said, if we were talking golf or tennis, sure, talk about one dude all day long, have fun. But there are other guys on this team. We have our perspective from inside this metaphorical bubble. Outside of it, what are you seeing as far as Brad and not only his value to this team, because that's understood, we already know that, but like to the league, where Brad, in my opinion, is like, look at the all-star voting for guards from the East, especially.
Yeah.
Like, Brad Beal is at the front, and he's got Kyrie by 200K easily. What are you seeing from outside?
A couple things. One, I do think Bradley Beal deserves to be an all-star selection. I think that oftentimes, like I mentioned, people look at the win-loss percentage as to why, and I think this is the second year where we've had these conversations for a myriad of reasons. When I look at Bradley Beal, I see a guy that a lot of other teams are paying attention to, but at the end of the day, it seems as though he still wants to be here, which loyalty is rare in today's NBA. He's found a home, but I think a healthy Russell Westbrook and a healthy Bradley Beal with some fillers or guys that want to come to the district, I think is a top 8 team, and I just think injuries has played a role in that. It's interesting. I thought that level of the dual analogy that I used with Chris Paul would apply to Russell Westbrook this year. And the couple of Wizards games that I actually watched in full, I was impressed with the 1-2 combo of Beal and Russell's, especially that Brooklyn Nets game. Kyrie Irving I know well, and many people would gloss over that game in the schedule. But if I'm not mistaken, Bradley scored a clip in about 7 seconds in that game and willed them to victory. Brother, if you had a healthy Russell every game and not resting on back-to-backs, and that's his business because he's got his own thing going on, understand it. The Wizards, to me, I like that team. It's just like,
figure it out.
What are we doing here? That's so from the general consensus of front office people that I've spoken with, other players, there's a respect for Bradley Beal. There's also interest from other teams. The Miami Heat, the Pelicans stand out if he were to request a trade or if they were to make a move. But I've not heard anything official about that move, and it just seems that he likes it here. He wants to stay here. Loyalty.
He ain't going nowhere, Scoop. He ain't going nowhere. We got him. Check the shirt. We got him. No.
Let me ask you a question. From you guys' perspective, watching the Wizards, what is different this year in the excitement of Bradley Beal this year as opposed to last year?
Oh man, Scoop, Lord have mercy. That is.
I just went on a rant, Scoop, the other day about this, and go ahead, Wes, because I can't.
So
I can't do it.
Here, I'm going to give us the greatest synopsis of the difference between this year and last year.
Okay.
For the Wizards, you have to take into account that last year, like COVID, it happened, and we had a totally young, developing team.
Right.
That was, Brad was at the front of it. John was hurt, so it was pretty much Brad and the band. We ended up taking advantage of a chance to go down to the bubble, won that last game against Boston, but still, that was last season. It gave guys like Rui a chance to develop their game and see what it's like to be the focal point of another team's pregame sheet. So then, fast forward to this season. Crazy, truncated offseason. We come in, we get the trade right before the year. Russ comes in. We start off on 5. Everybody's trying to get their stuff together. Thomas Bryant goes down against Miami. So we're like, oh, my God, what happened? So that happens. Then January kicks in. We get a win right there at the beginning of the year against Minnesota. We're like, okay, we're in good business. Get a win, good quality win against Brooklyn. Then all of a sudden, get kind of rough spot again. Get shut down with COVID. We're missing 6 guys. We go into rotation, and it's literally like Mad Libs of problems where you just kind of write a date and then fill in something like, oh, well, this happens. Reach in the bag, find out.
Yeah.
So for this year, it's just been really one of those things where imagine a guy like Rui, who his first 2 seasons in the NBA have been the most chaotic experience for anybody. I can't imagine someone, trying to go through that again. So that's where we're at with the team. Just overall, guys really trying to find their role and find their place. But I will say this, the full-throated answer to that question arrives at 7 p.m. on NBC Sports Washington for Wizards pregame live.
Look at that segue, man. I like it. I think you the doula on the broadcast.
Trying to do my thing, baby. Trying to do my thing, man. Look, my job is to run points so I can get to my shooters so they can knock them down. C-Mills is my 2 all day long. But
hey, Scoop, let me keep it a bean real quick on this Bill thing. I'm going to make it short and sweet.
Go ahead.
Nothing changed from last year to this year. The only thing that changed is the national media has finally decided they wanted to watch League Pass.
Oh, that too.
Ain't nothing changed. He was killing the league last year, doing the same thing this year. Nothing changed. It's so funny to me. This brother doesn't have commercials. This brother's not out here outlandish. He don't talk a lot. He don't have to, promote himself. Game speaks for itself. See, a lot of these people that's out here really don't know the game of basketball. I'm going to keep it 100. All you got to do is look at the stat sheet from last year. He's playing on a bad team, right? So everybody's like, he can't be an all-star because the team's not winning.
Trae Young.
The team ain't winning this year, and he's the leading vote getter for guards in the East.
But Chris, what did I say?
What changed?
What did
Nothing.
I say? Free time. Free time is what changed. Everybody's at home now.
Okay, the board in the house in the house board. Board in the house. Board in the house.
All of them days of walking down the street, looking at highlight clips on something like, oh, that was pretty cool, dunk. I'm gonna go. No, you're actually able to sit at home and assess for yourself what we've been talking about forever. So another thing, watch this. Chris, grab your shirt.
Uh-oh.
Because we do a thing on this scoop every time we do Wizards Talking Friends, because of the Wizards proficiency scoring. We have a thing called first to 120. It's a Chris Miller rule. First to 120 wins the game.
Okay.
Period. So the question that we asked our guests is, when does that 120 threshold get broken, and which team does it? The floor is yours.
So you're asking me who in the league, or specifically
in tonight's matchup between the Wizards and the Bulls?
Okay.
Which team is the first to 120, and when does it happen in the game?
The Wizards.
Look at you, Corey, cuddling up to it.
Man, Scoop over here. I see what you're doing, bro. Go ahead. Yeah. Win in the game.
When do they?
You got to give us some time in the game.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, 2:33 remaining.
Oh, okay. Push to the wire.
2:33
I like that.
I
like that. And you know that we're only as of right now, 3-point underdogs. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I think that this NBA this year has shown you anybody can get beat. You saw a Detroit Pistons team go to overtime against the Los Angeles Lakers over the weekend. The Lakers did get the win. A whooping is a whooping. But like you said, they're a 3-point underdog. I think that Bradley Beal and Russell, I don't know if Russell's playing tonight. I know was it a game time decision today?
So they're hedging their bets on this playing back-to-back stuff, which is funny to me. Now, before it was like, he's not playing the second night of a back-to-back. Now they're like, well, we'll see how he feels tomorrow. I think he only played 28 minutes last night. So I have a theory.
I like theories.
There's a game before they play the Houston Rockets in round 2.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if they're getting him ready to play on that second night of a back-to-back against the Rockets, because there's some James Brown had a song called "The Big Payback." I think there's some get back that they trying to get on February the 15th, so they might try to get this brother acclimated to playing on the second night of a back-to-back before that one. I just have a theory, just a thought.
I like your theory, Chris. I like your theory. And speaking of getting back, Scoop, we're gonna have to get you back on this one more time a little bit later on down the road, because brother, it's been fun conversation with you talking about getting ready for this Bulls, and your perspective on Zach and the Bulls situation is totally valuable. Do me a favor, hit everybody with your Twitter handle so they know where to find you and follow you.
Follow me on Twitter at ScoopB, as well as Instagram and Snapchat at Scoop_B. And I have a podcast as well, Scoop B Radio, which is available on all streaming platforms. And yeah, man, a pleasure to be with you guys. I watch you guys on League Pass, and the banter and the conversation back and forth. It's good to see young brothers do their thing.
Thank you.
I don't know about the young, but I take it. Scoop, I take it.
That's what I'm talking about. For Scoop B, Chris Miller, and myself, Wes Hall. Wizards pregame live, 7 o'clock tonight. Wiz Bulls. Yes, rep. Yes, rep. We'll see y'all later on.
And this is Scoop B Radio saying, you bring the coffee and I'll bring the Dunkin'. Kaboom!